You guys hit upon the work of the offensive line, and there's never a rushing performance like that isn't bolstered by the offensive line, obviously. And to Kevin's point, 5-yard runs by an average back are turned into 15 and 20-yard runs, et cetera, by an elite back, or in this case, a very talented back who may one day be an elite back, but had an elite day. But going back to the offensive line, there's been a lot of movement up front in terms of positioning that we've talked about in the past. Based on the information we have, and also factoring Thayer Munford and his situation into the mix, what does this offensive line look like, and do we expect any more changes?
Ryan Day said on Tuesday that Thayer Munford's injury is not long-term, which to me says he's out for this week at least. We talked to Matt Jones today. So he's the guy who stepped in at left guard for Thayer Munford, played well, graded out a champion, I believe. And he's done that before. He stepped in when needed on the interior. So I would expect it to be Nick Petit-Frere at left tackle, Matt Jones at left guard, still Luke Whippler at center, Paris Johnson and Dwan Jones on the right side. I think that's pretty much how it's going to go, and we'll see how Harry Miller gets, whenever he's ready to go. We saw him coming off the practice field last week. And we'll see. We'll probably keep an eye on him tonight to see if he's coming off the practice field tonight, but and maybe get him closer to playing. But I don't believe he was asked about yesterday, so I don't know the latest update on him.
Yeah, it's the nature of what's going on at Ohio State right now. You're 2-1. You lost a game to Oregon, and everybody who follows the team and watches the team is second-guessing every personnel decision that the coaches are making, including the offensive line. Was it right that Dwan Jones is playing tackle and Matthew Jones wasn't in the starting lineup at guard, and Munford should be back at tackle where he's been a mainstay? So, I just say that the coaches watch these guys every day in practice, and they have a feel for what everybody can do and what the best combination is. And I think Matthew Jones is a godsend, that he is so good and so accomplished and did so well last season that he's on hand as your sixth offensive lineman and is ready. Well, in this case, I guess he'd be your seventh offensive lineman, because Harry Miller, should have been in the starting lineup too at center. Sixth or seventh offensive lineman, you're kind of your utility guy that can go in there and plug a hole when one exists. And I fully would agree with Tony. There's no reason for Thayer Munford, whatever his injury, I think it was a right leg or right ankle or right knee, whatever it was, when he went down, there's no reason for him to be rushed back in there 7 days later to play against the team that they should beat, 55-25. I just cracked myself up with this score because, 50-point favorite for a team, as we said, that can't stop anybody is kind of interesting. I don't know how that's going to play out, but at any rate, I just think that Thayer should have the week off to get fully healthy, and they need him back for Rutgers. That's the game. That's the next game. That's the next most important game on the schedule is Rutgers. This is like a personal appearance on Saturday. Throw the helmets out on the field, wave to the crowd, score your 8 touchdowns and move on. It's just kind of, get those young kids, Emeka, Buka, and Marvin Harrison Jr., some run. Jack Sawyer should play 40 plays at defensive end. There's no reason for Zach Harrison to play in this game either, unless, he's able to practice all week and he's 150%. There's just no reason for it. But at any rate, I think that you stick with this offensive line. I don't think this offensive line is the problem. I think they've got bigger problems in terms of the running game, and maybe we'll get into that, I guess, as they get into Big Ten play, and we'll see if they're able to establish the run at the same level that they were able to in week 1 and week 3 against a quality opponent. Oregon sat on the tailback, didn't allow the running back to get off, and I think quarterback run's got to be a part of this at some point, part of solving that whole conundrum.